Hi guys! Today I'm making a pickled radish for kimbap. This video is for people who don't like food coloring added to their food. This pickle is free of additives and artificial food coloring, and it is equally delicious as the store-bought one. Now you're about to find out how easy it is to make it in your own kitchen. You will need a Korean radish called 무. This isn't seasoned in the winter time. It's really sweet and juicy, like late fall, November to early spring. That's when it's in season. This is a pound recipe, which yields about 20 strips. If you don't need all 20 strips, you can just cut the recipe in half. Every step will be the same. Okay, now I'm going to cut the radish. I'm going to try to cut the protruding part. Cut that out and not use it. Cut the bottom flat. Cut a little bit more. Okay, so now you want to cut this into a slab first, about 1 centimeter thick. Let's cut another one. I'll say this is the hardest part of this recipe. There's no cooking involved, but if you don't have a good knife, it's hard to cut. So I'm going to trim off that, and then okay, so let's show you the thickness. That's a little less than 1 centimeter. So if that's the case, you will cut it a little wider. Okay. I'm going to cut it from the top to the bottom. It's easier that way. Show you. Another slab. This is 9 by 13 baking pan, and I'm going to pickle in this a pound. This is a half teaspoon sea salt. Mix. I'm going to draw out water from the radish a little bit. The reason is that, you know, any cruciferous vegetables has that funky smell. So that's what I'm trying to get rid of. All the strips are coated in salt, and then I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes. It has been 15 minutes, and I want to show you the water that the radish released. I'll say like almost 1/3 cup or so. I'm going to rinse this. I'll rinse one more time. Shake off any excess water. Let's put the rinsed radish strips back in. 22 strips. I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of sugar. Try to dissolve the sugar. And now I'm going to add, this is sea salt. I have dissolved most of the salt. Now we're going to add 1/3 cup of white distilled vinegar, 5% acidity. Okay, so I'm going to pour just 1 tablespoon of water. You can see the sugar not completely dissolved, but it's okay. It will dissolve as time goes by. This is done. We just have to wait 24 hours. 12 hours is fine too. Or if you're really in a hurry, even 4 hours are okay too. But I do recommend minimum 12 hours. Okay, so I'm going to cover with plastic wrap, and then you can just keep this on your kitchen counter. Yeah, you might smell as it pickles something sour a little bit funky, and then you know those sulfurous, cruciferous vegetables give, so you'll smell some unpleasant smell, but you know it's okay, it will be delicious. So now it has been about 4 hours, and I just want to show you, you do not see any sugar crystals. So what I want you to do is I want you to rotate all the strips and cover and put it away. I want you to make sure that you do this along the way, making sure that all the strips are evenly submerged or coated in this vinegar mixture. So I'm going to cover and put it away onto the kitchen countertop until tomorrow. Okay, so now this is 24 hours later. Look how much water that we have accumulated. We only added 1/3 cup of vinegar and a tablespoon of water yesterday, but there is almost like a cup or more of water in this dish. It's because the radish strips have released all of its natural water. So I'm going to taste one. Do you guys hear how crunchy? It's delicious. I'm going to transfer over to a glass container. So I am going to keep the pickled strips in its own brine. I will just make one kimbap so it will be more convincing for you guys. The gim. I'm just going to use my everyday rice that has oat and quinoa in it, and a little bit of sesame oil. Oh, I sprinkle some salt. Okay, and mix. Earlier today, I quickly whipped up some very basic kimbap fillings. Egg, carrot, and green beans. Green beans is not a usual kimbap filling, but that's the only green that I have right now. The pickled radish strips, you don't want to rinse this in water, but make sure you scrape off all the pickle brine. So there is the pickled radish right there. There's the white radish pickle. Oh, 2 things I want to point out. In the summertime, when the radish is not in season, I do not recommend making this because the radish is just not tasty and it's bitter and it's dry. You could get uncolored, the white ones like this without the food coloring from the store as well. Going to eat one. Yes, I do definitely taste the pickle radish. It has the same crunchiness and taste as the store-bought ones. Yep, it worked out. I want to show you guys one more thing. When you go to Korean market shopping for radish, sometimes you don't see radish that's like long enough to make the full strip. They're this short and stout and even shorter. In this case, what you can do is, so I cut it to the size, which is like half of the full strip, about this much. Cut it into a slab, and you'll do the same. This is a lot easier. If you do the half strip, then you don't have to have a long dish like the one that I used earlier. You could just simply do it in your mixing bowl like this. And then when you make kimbap, you can just lay out 2 strips to make kimbap. I'm going to try to make, if you ever had Korean fried chicken, they give you a little bit of radish pickle on the side. So that's what I'm gonna do. You cut it in square, like a dice. And I think that's good. So this is a good size. 3/4 of an inch all around. 8 ounces only. I'm going to use half the amount of the salt, which is 1/4 teaspoon sprinkled, and I'm just going to toss it. Okay, so the radish is well coated with the salt, so I'm going to leave this on the kitchen counter for 15 minutes. So I'm going to rinse this twice. So now I'm going to add granulated sugar. 1 teaspoon of sea salt, 1/6 of white vinegars. This is a 1/3 cup. I'm just going to fill it halfway. Very little bit of water. That's just like a little over a teaspoon. I'm going to put this away onto the kitchen countertop for 24 hours and just come back and take a look. Sometimes just move the bowl around like this, and then it will be ready in 24 hours. You'll do the same. You are going to pack just like this. Keep this in the refrigerator. It will stay in the refrigerator for quite some time. I've kept it for over a month. That was perfectly fine. But up to a month or even 2 months, they're fine. But one thing you might want to know is the bright white color start to lose its brightness and then start to get a little dingier. Even though it loses its brightness, the taste wise, it's fine. It doesn't mean that it went bad. It's perfectly okay to consume. This will be ready tomorrow. One thing, make sure you keep them in the refrigerator before serving. It will be much refreshing and crunchier. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye bye.